All right. So
Please, you can start. We are live now.
I'm so sorry. My lights also went off. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to this session of our time with the CEO. Unfortunately, our guest is having issues connecting, and so I'm going to engage you with some discussions until he's able to join. So we are talking about how to find the right co-founder. And the first question is that probably might come to mind is who at all is a co-founder, right? So I'm pretty sure that most of you on the call will be familiar with the answer to this. The co-founder is a business person with an interest in one's business that decide to join forces to come up with the business or to help nurture the business and grow it together with the person. The thing is that you might start your business all by yourself. And that is usually the case because except in cases where probably the two meet before hatching an idea, somebody might have hatched the idea before trying to look for other co-founders that will support them in doing what they do. And so in most cases, we begin the business as the sole person who is trying to nurture that business. But the point is that the old adage that says that if you want to arrive at your destination quicker, go alone. But of course, if you want to go far, then you need to go with others. It's very important. And that's why most people would like to get others join them. And I see that our guest is in. Paul, you're welcome. Hello, Paul.
Thank you so much. Sorry about, we had internet outage.
Yes, I think that even in Ghana, we're also struggling. It looks to be raining in most regions. So internet is a bit unstable, but nonetheless, you are welcome. I'm glad to share this seat with you. Paul is an entrepreneur, he's an investor, and he's a business developer. He wears a lot of hats. And so I'm glad that we have Paul on the call today to help us discuss the issues regarding finding a co-founder and trying to manage that relationship. So Paul, let me give you about a minute to tell the audience a bit about yourself.
Hello.
Hi, Paul. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So my name is Paul Mbua. I'm a Cameroonian based in Limbe in the southwest region of Cameroon. And I run so many organizations, but I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship. I believe is one of the key frameworks where we can solve African issues, right? And also passionate about investment because driving the right investment and also boosting the investment ecosystem in Africa helps in survival of these entrepreneurs who are passionate and crazy enough to get into entrepreneurship. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we are glad to have you here as a man with a lot of experiences to support entrepreneurs on the African continent. Now, in your experience, who would you describe as a co-founder? You are muted.
Sorry. So
Good.
to me, a co-founder is somebody that will help you in driving your business, someone who would help you to be sustainable or to be stable, because in challenging times, a co-founder is just that companionship you need for you guys to go through the challenges together. Because entrepreneurship, as we know, all know, it's a crazy journey, it's a risky journey, right? And you cannot take the chance of going alone, right? So a co-founder is simply that companion that would help you, stand with you when also you're down, right? Because not all the times you feel not motivated, and you feel the passion to keep driving. Some challenges might let you down. So you need a co-founder that will be there, that has a different skill set than you, which is very important, right? That have a different drive, different personality is also very important. That can stand with you in case you go down. So a complementary factor within your entrepreneurial journey.
Right. So a number of interesting terms that you have used: a companion, a complementary skilled person, and somebody who will lift you up when you are down, and so forth. So more of somebody being friends with you on a journey that you are paving. But usually people start businesses as individuals, right? Unless you met the person before hatching the idea. So is it possible that somebody joins sometime along the line and I can call the person a co-founder? Or I need to start the business with a person to be called a co-founder?
No, definitely. If you look within even the entrepreneurial landscape, even in Kenya, where you have the issue that sprung up with having a co-founder of a different nationality, right? So startup is already existing and is looking for investment. And right now, investors are looking for an organization that has two co-founders. And it's not even because of the companionship, it's just a matter of helping you in checkmating the other person, right? In terms of logical decision making, right? You have your own affinity, things you're open to, things you love. Another person coming in helps you to checkmate another. It's a sort of a brainstorming system where you guys come up with the best decision for the business. So that is really what's on ground, right? You have your own mindset, your own way of doing things. You cannot trust yourself all the time in making the right decision. But checkmating it with your co-founder also helps you that when you are, going through the deep, he'll be able to say, mate, this decision you're taking the company would ruin the business, right? In terms of financial decisions, in terms of maybe the place of operations of the business, in terms of hiring and things like that. So they want an equal, even investors are looking for co-founders because you have an equal power playing platform where it's not just one person lording over everything, right? So you see co-founders where you had this technical skill and you start your business, you start maybe an application or a health tech application and you've kicked it off the ground. But now for you to drive that business, you need a business development, expert, somebody that helps you in the business side of it, because with that, your business would survive, or your health tech app will even become, sought after as a value proposition in the market. So you can have a co-founder. Not everybody has from the beginning. Most, if you look at even the YC batch, most of them don't have a co-founder from the beginning, right? Some who applied don't even have a co-founder, but because they see that as part of the application process, or because they see that it is very important, they'll go get a co-founder. So no matter the stage you're at, it's always important for you to get a co-founder, knowing the purpose of the co-founder, and not just for you to just have it because you have it, but you'll be able to respect the terms, and agreement of having a co-founder. So at any stage you can have a co-founder, but the earlier the better. But no matter the stage you are right now, you can still get a co-founder. A co-founder can be a friend within your network, somebody you trust in terms of values. So very important. Somebody can have all the business skills, but if the values are not there, that is already a bad indicator. So somebody who is skillful but has values, and also the person is driven, has a little bit of conduct, and also sees the vision. So that should be how you get a co-founder. When the person is passionate about the vision, right? Passionate about the vision, talks more about the vision than money. If co-founders are coming in and talking about, what do we get? What do I get? That is already a bad indicator. But if you're talking about, the vision, expanding the vision is very important.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Paul. But you said something that you should find a complementary person. But there are two wise sayings that I've known in Africa. They have one that they say, birds of the same feathers flock together. And there's the one that also says, show me a friend, I'll show you a character. All these alluding to the fact that you should be close to people who are like you. Shouldn't that be the basis of selecting a co-founder? Should somebody with the same kind of skill set and mindset and etc.?
Okay, so what you said is very important, right? So when you're talking about the same type of mindset, it will be entrepreneurial mindset. Somebody who is not complaining, like the ABC syndrome, somebody who complains, somebody who accuses others, somebody who blames others, and somebody who complains. So you don't want to find somebody with the ABC syndrome. We know in Africa, you get to a plane, they start complaining about your country immediately, right? You don't want somebody like that. You want a solution-driven person. So that will be at the level of the mindset. So somebody with the same skill sets will not be the best. So if you are a technical person, you need somebody who can go out there and open you the door, what they call the hustler. You need that type of person that will go to a government office, get you a contract, somebody that would stand there and see, okay, our company is failing, we need this and this and that. I would be able to get off a flight and go to a place, to look for help and to look for support. So you want somebody not with the same skill set, but complementary skill set. If you're introvert, you need somebody who is an extrovert. That will be a plus to the business, right? If you're a technical person, you need somebody with the business development skills, definitely. If you're a business development person, you need maybe an accountant, HR, somebody who has worked with, it depends the scope of your business, somebody who has worked with maybe an international organization, that gives you a plus. You see, most fintech startups now are recruiting people who are already working from the banks. They have lots of experience, they have connections from the banks, they're coming with their own money and knowledge and things like that. So you need to be able to identify what are the key things that will drive my business to the next level. So it tilts your mindset towards the type of skill sets that is needed for your business to strive.
Good. So will I be right in saying that before you consider somebody, you need to ask yourself, what are the skill sets I don't have that the other person has? Do I have to think that way?
Definitely. It's just like a marriage. Not that it's just like a marriage, it's marriage, right? Because it's a lifetime commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. That's so true. And you have people whom they look for their best friends. Some are looking for their spouses or their girlfriends. It depends on you. It's a lifetime commitment. Why do I say so? You need to look at where you're going, where your company is going. If for example, you're thinking about building your life in Accra, for example, and you find a very beautiful, intelligent lady who is thinking about having an international career in USA, that is something that that is not for me. So you start looking at what are the things I would need, what are my own skill set, what am I good at, right? What am I good at? You do a self-evaluation, self-assessment of yourself, to be honest with yourself, to say, these are the things I lack. Do I lack financial management? Do I lack, the ability to make clear decisions? Do I lack the ability to make decisions quickly, which is very important for every startup, right? So I look at myself, do a self-assessment, and from there, I can, normally it's not easy to have the right pick, but don't just make the first decision. So try to maneuver with some people, put the idea out there to find out, would you like to join my company? Would you like to work with me on this? And from there, you'll be able to meet. And definitely having a community of entrepreneurs is also important. Get to meet more entrepreneurs within those communities. And from there, you'd have the right pick, In business, we say instinct is not reliable, but at times you can go with your instincts, right? You can see somebody and say, I think I can take a chance with this person.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you also mentioned earlier that now investors are also becoming more and more interested in businesses that have co-founders. Why is that? Why are investors looking for businesses with co-founders to invest in them?
The first would be equal sharing power or equal power in terms of decision making. Your co-founder being able to checkmate you, that would be the first. The second is the ability for you to have another person with a different skill set that will help you in terms of better decision making, which is also very important. And the ability for you to be able to go together because you are now two. The power of unity, or the power of one. Two of you becoming one in a vision. They'll know you guys will be able to drive the startup to rise above the challenges of the time. So that would be that is their thinking, that is their mindset. Also just a platform because that is the base of a company. So you guys are building a culture even of teamwork from the base, right? Building a culture of collaboration, building a culture of learning how to work together than rather being a lone ranger where you are just there alone doing your thing, because that also affects the DNA of your startup, right? Where you have people in their own cubicles doing different things. And at the end of the day, everybody is doing different projects, but also having a more collaboration system, teamwork that develops in the DNA of the enterprise. Definitely, they would know if they trust you with the money, you guys will be able to checkmate yourself in fulfilling that vision. Because people run away with money, right? You see people having $2 million, they get married, and they forget about too many things. We know the challenges in Africa, definitely. So they know if you have somebody with you, you'll be able to not also rub his reputation on the mud, and you guys can jack hard together to do it.
Yeah, thank you for those insights. Now let me zone in specifically to you, because I know you have a co-founder. They also say that chocolates can even be bitter, right? And so there are definitely some challenges that come along with having a co-founder. And so what are some of the challenges that you have personally experienced or seen other co-founders experience that those who want to find co-founders should be aware of?
The first thing is, wow, so many challenges. The first thing is, you get to know that maybe you're the founder, you started this company yourself, and you have somebody coming in like a co-founder and wants equal power. When I mean equal power, I mean equal power in everything. You can't take a decision without going through the person, and it gets to work a lot with your brain, because that is not what you're used to. You're the boss, everything, then getting, just the point of passing your decisions through somebody, right? It's as if that is your boss. So that was the first shock, right? The second would be having to put it in terms of legal terms, right? Giving the person a share, some percentage of, because that is what it has to be, right? The person needs to have a certain amount of share in terms of share holding in terms of decision making. So you're trying to, how do I quantify? That is also very tricky. How do I quantify the input this person is bringing with the shares that will be allocated with the person, right? And if you have maybe 2 or 3 people that have been with you from the beginning, and they start seeing you maybe in conferences, on your website, having a co-founder, they feel left apart, because they would believe they should be the ones, right? If you're looking for a co-founder, definitely you have to go to them, right? Than looking for an external person, for example. So those were the challenges, right? Those were the challenges in terms of how do we change. So for example, if you've been existing as I've been existing for a time, having a co-founder, how do we change now the structure of our business in terms of how do we manage things, and also taking everybody along, which was not easy. That had to take a lot of time, and education and training for that. And how can we effectively work together? So that were the key challenges. But I think the most would be, how do we define the terms of the agreement and make sure we are there for the long haul? So I think those were the challenges. But I would say challenges are very important, because they are opportunities, right? They are opportunities for you as the entrepreneur to see how you can thrive in those times, and develop your muscle. So that we took it all in as a learning process, right? And it was also good because we could share our experience with other entrepreneurs.
Right. That's great. And because now you said earlier that you need to find somebody with a complementary skill. So, for instance, if I'm a technical person, I have to look for somebody who is a business development person, or somebody with marketing skills, somebody who can easily connect and so forth. Does that also come with its own nuances to deal with?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. The truth also would be you want somebody who has practical skills, very important, because somebody who has the network, right? Because people might tell you, because definitely that's what as I was saying, values would be the baseline of it, because there are some people that would you want to avoid the ABC people, right? They accuse, they blame, and they complain, and you don't want somebody who would pull you down. So apart from those skills, there are some personal
Great.
skills or life skills or soft skills that the person needs to have. Without that, you get into more issues, with business in terms of decision making, in terms of maybe accepting on a pivot. So, for example, COVID happens, right? And you're telling, you're suggesting, and you're talking with your co-founder, let's cut down all operations and focus on how we can thrive. And they say, no, we need to expand, we need to do this. So how do you? So looking at somebody who reasons, and that's where a lot of working sessions have to be in place before we make that decision. Somebody who is logical enough, somebody who is also not too logical enough. So if you're very logical, you don't want two logical people. If you are too talkative, you don't want another talking person, because nobody will be there to listen. So those are the things you look at, right? So it's just a game of learning to know which best person you can also submit your ideas under. So somebody who would be able to go out there and do things that you are not able to do, who is daring enough, right? So you don't want somebody who is just maybe in the office and waiting for things to happen. Always look at companies who had two co-founders. You had somebody who was going out there, who was a hustler, who was breaking, the status quo, and you just had one person in there focusing on, this is how we develop this thing, this is how we make it nice. Somebody who is there talking to customers, talking to companies, finding out what they want, and the next person trying to make the thing look, beautiful, making it look nice with the best features, the best customer experience, and things like that. So that is what I mean by complementary skills, because that helps you to take that load off of you. It brings a lot of value. Definitely, you guys can do a lot together.
Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing those details. Now, I would like us to get into the more technical parts. But before I ask my questions, guys, anyone on the call that has a question, you can just put it in the chat or just raise your hand, the virtual hand, and I'll call you to ask. Paul, so now we spoke about having an agreement, right? A written agreement between the co-founders. What details must go into that agreement, definitely? Oh, we lost Paul. Uh-oh. All right, I'm sure Paul will be back. Internet issues that we need to deal with. So for those that join late, we've been chatting with Paul, and he has shared a lot of insights about the need to have a co-founder. Usually these ones should be those that complement what we lack, and they serve as checkmates for us, right? And then we're talking about the fact that one of the first shocks that we get when we bring somebody in is the share of power, where we have been by ourselves making decisions all along, and now, like Paul put it, you kind of get a manager that you need to run things by, and that can feel very awkward for somebody that has been by himself all that while. I'm going to move on to my next question, but before that, Amin has a question. So Amin, please unmute yourself and ask Paul your question.
All right, thank you very much.
Hello, Amin. Uh-oh.
Since I joined, what I want me. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Hello, Amin.
Hello, yeah, Mr. Gideon.
Yes, please ask your question. You were breaking up.
All right, so what I was saying is, I've personally tried getting co-founders on board. Imagine myself doing everything alone, and then you decide that, okay, since you want to share the vision with somebody, how not bring a co-founder? But you realize that as time goes on, in the beginning stages, when things start to pick up, you realize that your co-founder have a different vision altogether from what you had that made you bring the person on board. Aside the power sharing and everything, and I believe in Africa, where everybody wants to be known as the CEO of blah, 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 it has also been a very, very key aspect of why people do not bring co-founders on board, because that feeling of entitlement is one thing that we are all seeking. It looks like everybody wants the glory for him or herself. How do you go about that when you are trying to bring a co-founder, but the person has got a different vision altogether? Aside that power play, how do you go about that, say?
All right, thank you for your question, Paul.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that's a very good question. You know, you don't just go finding a co-founder. There are times a co-founder would find you. So this is the game. The first is not to get a co-founder. The first is to get a friend or get somebody who is passionate. It's like I met Gideon, we just clicked, right? I know he's passionate. We could work on things together without me asking for payment or without him asking for payment, because this is the vision. So that is what you start looking for, right? You're looking out for somebody who has values. Definitely, it happens all the time. We've had companies where the co-founder kicked out, the main founder out of the company, right? Voted him out, bashed him in front of his investors and took over the company. It happened so many times in Africa. So definitely you're looking for someone with values. It takes time, right? So looking within your personal network. And also, as I said, putting things together in paper, having a lawyer drafting something, which is also very important. So the person knows he's not co-founder, CEO. So you can have certain agreements, right? The person knows we are working together, but the person doesn't know I'm a co-founder, right? Not from the get-go, I'm a co-founder. So it's like finding a girlfriend, right? You start looking along the way, a period of dating where you're getting to know this person. What are his real motives, right? So when somebody is joining you, what are the real motives of joining my business or trying to work along with me in this business, which is also very difficult for you to do because you don't have a lot of time, but you need to put out time to really find out the motives of the person, have a period of gestation where the person doesn't immediately have all the powers to become a co-founder, right? So you can unlock if you're with me after maybe 2 years, you unlock maybe 10 shares. If you're with me after 2-3 years, so you have a period where he unlocks, he is a co-founder, but he doesn't have all the rights and privileges that a co-founder should have. So it unveils in stages. So if the person is with you after 10 years or 7 years, then now it unlocks everything about maybe how the person can sell his or her shares or assets he can have with maybe the company share. So it would depend also on you for you to develop your own system, right? But don't give up because it's not easy. When you see an entrepreneur who is about the lifestyle, those lifestyle entrepreneurs who just think about this is a show, it's not a show. Entrepreneurship is not a good thing, right? It's very, you're giving your life away for something that you are not sure it will work. There will be even product market fit, for example, right? So somebody who is not seeking fame, and you can know it's for you to have a third sense to know. So you can start throwing certain challenges along the way when you feel this is the right person, right? Start throwing certain challenges along the way. You're a co-founder, but your name will not be on the website, for example. You will see his reaction, both verbal and non-verbal, right? You're a co-founder, but you will not have this, and you see it. So from there, you start. It's more of building trust between the two persons, because we've seen cases where somebody would just want to use me as a co-founder to win a pitch, right? And when money comes in, they scrap me away, or I'm not in the decision-making process. So it's both of trust and trying to build that relationship. So I would say don't relent, because we've seen most co-founder cases in Africa working quite well, right? So it's something about values, building it, and looking out for the best, and also having, you attract who you are, right? It's very important, because most times we don't see based on what we want to see, we see based on who we are, right? So we see from that prism. So it's also very important to have a very open mind and be very positive, that you would have, you have somebody along the way. It's a trying process. So it's not just a one-time thing. You can try maybe 2-3 persons and it fails. So that's what I would encourage you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Just like you might fail at many businesses before you have a breakthrough with one, finding a co-founder can also be that daunting. Thank you very much, Paul. Amin, I think we lost Amin, but I think that the key things I picked from what Paul said was the fact that you are looking at character and then also putting things on paper. And so if we want things to work well, then we should have the two. So, attitudes and characters are not things that you can guarantee for a person through eternity. So it has also happened, like Paul said, that people start very well as co-founders, but especially when they see the business scaling and the assumption of money coming in, people begin to be aggressive. And that's where sometimes at that time, if you have a legal document backing what is in it for everyone, you can fall on it to rectify matters. So that's very important. Yeah. So Paul, when writing such an agreement, what must definitely go into those agreements?
Okay, so definitely you it depends the stage at which you're in with your business, but it's good for a lawyer to help you to draft it, right? So if you don't have a lawyer, there are co-working spaces that have already those frameworks that would help you connect with the lawyer. So the first thing would be ownership, right? who owns what? How much share would this person have? And how many years will it take to unlock, which is very important, right? So you'd have a redundancy period where you would not want to unlock everything now. You can say your shares unlock, the real value of your shares, right, will be in the next 5 years. That is an option. It can be in the next 6 years. That's an option, right? Maybe for now, you're being remunerated normally as a co-founder, or you are not remunerated at all because it's not a role, like it's not an executive role where you'd have, maybe you'd say, I'm investing maybe 5 years in this business, I'm not earning a salary, I'm just earning bonuses. That can be an option for you. So looking at the shares, ownership of the shares, looking at unlocking those shares within a particular amount of time. Litigation, what happens when he doesn't want to be part of the company? Does he work hands-free, or is compensated on that? So
right.
Be compensated on that, because it's very important that you have those clauses, because you would always need it at the end of the day. Somebody wants to leave, what happens? So all those scenarios. So I would say lots of scenario playing in your mind. So the person knows that from the get-go, if an investment comes, it's not for the money to be shared. It's rather for us to do the work, because we have to repay back to our investor. We have to keep, at terms of the contract. So looking at share ownership, looking at when it unlocks, looking at litigation, if the person doesn't want to be part of it, what happens? So those are the key things for you to have within your business, or within the agreement. So it must not be a very long agreement. It can be maybe a page 2. Yeah, it's very simple to be understood by anybody.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And George has a question for you, Paul. It says that at what stage of the business should one look for a co-founder? Hello, Paul.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Sorry.
Okay.
So it depends on you. We've seen businesses where maybe we're in a hub together, right? And I have this idea. I say, wow, can we try it out? And we work on that idea together. Very exciting, and we come up with a business that is thriving and is receiving investment. So I said, every stage, from the ideation stage, where it's not even a business, or is still within the books, ideating, working on a business idea, from the business idea to, I'll not say very mature business, to maybe an early stage, right? An early stage business. There are still some businesses that will have a co-founder at a good stage, but I think you can just hire somebody if you're already in the good stage, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a very early stage, you're still in your ideation, you can have a co-founder. You already have maybe a prototype. You can have a co-founder. Early stage, you can have. It's very important for that stage, because there are still many uncertainties, right? There are still many hypotheses. So you need somebody that would be there, because that's where the work is needed, not when the company is already at a good stage, right? So I would advise that if you have an idea, you can still share with somebody who is passionate about. Definitely, you have a friend who you always share your idea with. That can be a very good co-founder, right? That's really a good co-founder. You share your ideas with, is passionate. You guys work on the prototype, work on the design, and even the MVP and things like that. So I would believe in the very early stages would be good, but when you're already at the good stage, it will not be a good thing.
Right. So thank you, Paul. George, I trust that you are answered. If you have further questions, you can let us know. Paul, we've asked about the negatives. Now, at the personal level, how has having a co-founder been of help to you at a personal level?
Oh, first, I travel a lot, so I know when I touch out of base, there's somebody who man ups the operations, right? That would do things. I know there's somebody that would definitely work for the best interest of the business. So I'm
So you are the
relaxed.
one, knocking doors.
Yes, I'm the one knocking doors. I'm the hustler of the business, right? I'm the hustler of the business. So if the person is there, when he has to do with HR, managing people, right? Having people maybe not to receive their bonuses, during COVID, we slash salaries, that person who will go and talk to people because you're paying households, family depends on the business and things like that. So that person is there, to drive that, because I'll not have that courage to tell somebody, I know schools are reopening, we are maybe paying you just $500 this month and things like that. So that helps in terms of that complementarity, right? In terms of HR driving those things, working with people and stuff like that. So that helps so it helped me in terms of the workload. Because that's why you see some entrepreneurs die early, right? Not having a co because the stress is just too much.
Yeah.
Right. So believing me of those stress points, always solution driven. That's what I love. It's always solution driven. Like if there's a problem, how can we do it? If it doesn't work, is there another way of doing it? There's no one time you start hearing, oh, the government has done this, the government has done this. In my country now, as we run the Tech Hub, the incubator, the government removed the policy. Everybody has to be an accredited body. Wow. It means you have to go through the government procedures, and with that, you are inviting them to your place, sharing them, and they know nothing about incubation, and you are just surprised how these people in the government offices want to come and evaluate your work to give you a certificate for something we've been doing for the last 15 years, right? Wow. And that is the person who is working with them, telling them this is what we do, because I am, I would say something that is not
pleasant.
She's the diplomat, and things like that. So it relieves me of the stress. I know my strengths and I keep to my strengths, right? Yes, I keep to my strengths, even though I'm developing myself, but I keep to my strengths, and she too keeps to her own strength, and that helps us to move very, very fast. So those are the pleasant things when I'm going through my own life challenges, because that's what entrepreneurs don't look at. You go through life challenges. You lost someone, you lost maybe a mother, a father who is dear to you, and that will take you off balance.
Yeah.
Right? It takes you off balance. So there are various life challenges that will happen where you want to redefine yourself. You want to know why you exist and things like that. So having the co-founder helped me also when I lost my younger sister, right? Helped me in terms of running the business and doing things, till I could get off that emotional it's fair for me to come back with a clear head in the business. But if I didn't have a co-founder, where would the direction be coming from? So those are the things that has helped, me in having, a co-founder.
Great. Our belated condolences. And so guys, if you also don't want to die early, you want somebody to release your stress for you, then you better get a co-founder, right? But George is adding up to his question that he shared an idea with a friend, thinking that you become a co-founder, and then the person ended up stealing the idea from him.
It happens. It happens all the time. But you that's already a character flaw, right? That's already a character flaw. That's something it's not a good co-founder. And you need to know the speed of implementation and execution is different. Right? Hyperspace, foundation runs the hub, runs activities, but it's different from the tech hub, right? But we are still supporting entrepreneurs. Our approach is different, our methodologies are different. So don't be afraid somebody steals your idea, because that is still an idea, it's still a hypothesis. When you start testing the market, you see you need to pivot a lot even from that original idea. Mr. Gideon, you could testify that when you had this idea of supporting entrepreneurs. Where you are right now was not what you pictured, right?
It's far apart.
Definitely. So just be happy. We need more entrepreneurs. We have so many issues in Africa. We need as many entrepreneurs as possible. So be happy when you share your idea, somebody steals it, because it gives you now a push to execute differently and to execute better. So I'll say it's a positive. It's not a negative. But that's the wrong character flaw for a co-founder.
Thank you very much. And remember that Paul said earlier that just like when you are planning to find a wife, you date, you court, you try to find out if this person will work for me or not. You also have to do that, right? So probably instead of just putting everything all out, you can be teasing the person to see where the person's passion lies. What are the characters that the person is going to bring on board and so forth before you make the decision. So that's very good.
And just to add to that, Mr. Gideon, that's why you need in the area of entrepreneurship, you need relationships and you need to ask questions, right? So for example, when investors are talking to those in Ghana, and within the area that you are in, if an investor wants to invest in an entrepreneur, they'll come to you and say, oh, Mr. Gideon, what do you think about, so that is something that you can do when you're scouting, right? Find out information. Yeah. They will tell you from their friends. It's like they'll tell you, oh, this person, no. So that even helps you in terms of eliminating a lot of chunk of work in terms of dating. Ask around. People around the space, they'll tell you, there's this guy. When there are projects, you would always look about, for himself, how we can eat the project money and not implement. So you start knowing. So ask around, ask Mr. Gideon within the space. You ask people, somebody in this place, he knows somebody who knows somebody. So asking around also helps in really, getting to know the person. Not with, there are information that you take. There are ones that you also need to sieve to get the real data. It's like looking for data, right? That should be your approach. Yes.
Yeah. Nowadays, everything is about data mining, right? You need to understand what works and so forth. Wow, time is really flying. I'll give the last chance to those that want to ask questions. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and just ask. If you are at a place where you cannot talk, you can just drop it in the chat. Other than that, I'll ask Paul to give his final submission, his last words on the co-founding. Okay, Paul, what are your last words for us on finding a co-founder?
Thank you very much. And thanks to all those who've listened. There is no perfect science in finding a co-founder, right? You need to have the entrepreneurial spirit to fail forward, right? So if you fail, you rise and you keep trying. And one of the things with the co-founder is it helps you to be less stressful. The French will say, il ne faut pas stresser. You don't have to stress because there are many things that rely on your health and also on you being on your feet, right? So you look at having a co-founder as also a medium to reduce stress for you and for the business, and for the business to go the long haul. And together, it's always together. We know together we can move forward. Alone, you can move just so far. So think about the co-founder as somebody whom you need to walk, the dark phases of the business. So my last words would be, get a friend, get somebody you can talk to, somebody that you can relate with the family, that together it will become a family and not just a work relationship. That's what you're aiming at, right? Somebody that you guys can sit together and share everything, somebody who can keep secrets, somebody who is there for the long haul, who has the same vision and who has the same mindset, right? And that will help you to unlock so many things, not just for the company, but for yourself as a person. You would learn a lot about yourself, and you would learn a lot about who you are. So thank you very much, Mr. Gideon, for the opportunity.
Oh, how can we thank you, Paul? It's been an amazing session with you. A lot of lessons learned. And so definitely, if you want to go a long haul, they say do not walk alone, right? So definitely find a co-founder. It will be in your own personal interest. It will be in the interest of the business, as now investors are even looking for businesses that have co-founders with structures, because you have checkmates that are going to help you manage the money they are giving you. And of course, like Paul said, we shouldn't all be in ties and be at the office. After having the product that you are creating, there should be somebody that goes out there to sell, somebody that connects you with other organizations, somebody that brings in all the partners, somebody that is able to manage the staff, their emotions, and somebody who is able to also manage the expectations of the customers. Definitely, no one person can get all these things done. And so please allow yourself to bring others in. We understand that there are challenges. The obvious ones is about power sharing, but well, why do you want to keep all the power that will not bring you any benefits, right? So just allow others to come in. They say if you have 10% of a billion, is better than 100% of 1,000. So never be greedy, share, and allow others to share with you. Paul, we thank you so much for joining us all the way from Cameroon. We will definitely also connect with you and want to also share with your community there. And that's the Ubuntu Africa that we are building. So we are glad you came, and we hope that next time when we call upon you, you will gladly join us. Now, before we all go, we want to take a family picture. So all those who can put on their cameras, please do us the honors and put on your camera so that we can take a family picture together. So I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and then we take the pictures. Great. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Let's smile, let's smile, let's smile. Adepa, we saw your style, you can do it. Okay, then enjoy your evening. Matilda, it was great seeing you. Everybody, David, Wahab, Paul, greetings to everybody. Esther, hope to see you
Thank
again.
you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye and have a good evening.